Well, whose antlers were better? It's like everyone's wearing antlers. This party is hilarious, but you won't let it be because you're
Oh
too
my
rich
God.
to have a sense of humor.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, Margie. I am, and everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Ramona Ramirez, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I had maybe a cumulative of 2 hours of sleep last night. And we're recording bright and early on a Friday morning because A, OC wrapped up last night, and good riddance, FYI. And B, we both have appointments like straight off the bat for the rest of the day. So right after this, I have therapy. So that is
that's
why.
nice.
Yes. So we, in this episode, are going to cover the season premiere of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I might add, the significance of this franchise in particular because of the three Richards sisters, Kathy Hilton, Kim Richards, obviously Kyle Richards. These women just exemplify what a dysfunctional family system looks like. And every time two of them or the three of them, or even it was just Kyle, were on the screen, I personally would just all of a sudden, all of like the things I remember about being a child of an alcoholic and things I learned in Al-Anon, just like they come at me in neon flashing lights whenever I observe the dynamics of those three, in particular of all the shows on Bravo. Hence, that is why this one feels particularly relevant to this podcast and what we cover. And we are hoping to also cover a little bit of the final episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes. And
That's on the docket.
Yeah, it was sort of a last minute ad to put Beverly Hills in. So I apologize that I didn't have time to take notes, but Ramona's going to guide us through that. And Lord knows there's plenty going on. Do you want to start with Beverly Hills or should we wrap up OC first? What should we do?
Oh, that's a really good question. We can wrap up OC, I think, first, as long as we do it quickly.
I mean, part of me feels like, why don't we do Beverly Hills first?
Great. I'm happy to do that. Let's do it.
It's also like,
let's do it.
OC, it's just, it was just one long John Jansen fest. And so
honestly, he said, she said.
Yeah, touch on that or not. But Beverly Hills was like white hot. It was so exciting visually. It was so, I loved seeing everybody again. Like, and I know,
me too.
Several months from now, I'll be like, are we done with this yet? But like,
probably.
It was such a breath of fresh air to see these ladies just being as extra as they've ever been with their clothes, their hair, their makeup, their surgeries,
yeah, exactly. Everything.
Attitudes,
Jennifer Tilly.
Bose. I love Bose.
I'm
so happy for her.
I am happy for her too, except for I just want to say like Whoopi Goldberg in the, telephone booth gif regarding Dorit, you in danger, girl. Like, I don't understand that immediate love fest. I find Dorit to be very sus, as the youth say.
But I feel like I saw that connection with them, especially because I don't know. I thought that was such an interesting connection of two people who were in long-term marriages, and they both were ending in different, not equally. There's no comparing, but they both ended in trauma. One in divorce and one in death, but that had, started down a road toward divorce. So like, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I'll be curious to see. I would love to see the lunch where they sort of like get deeper into how they both chose their person and how they both wound up where they were, if they're willing to talk about that stuff. But
I mean, I'm definitely willing to keep an open mind. I couldn't believe I actually did this. Like, this is a fucking Bravo show. And yet here I am, like, before I start watching Beverly Hills and when I did a rewatch to take notes, like, Ramona, I want you to have an open mind. You're going to choose to have an open mind. Pretend you've never seen any of these people before. Pretend that you don't have a long history of utter dislike and contempt for Dorit. What can you notice? That lasted all about 5 minutes.
I mean, I thought her entrance was great. I loved her little
Oh, yeah.
outfit. I love those
Oh, yeah.
heels.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
hair looks great.
Yes, I
She
have.
looks amazing.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Echo Park Lake, which was the very first drone shot. The very first B-roll was that beautiful, expansive gem of Echo Park, the gem of the East Side. It makes my heart burst every time I see it, no matter what show I'm watching, reality show, a movie, or whatever. Shout out to the 90026. I'm done.
I love that park. It's
I do
beautiful.
too. I love it.
It's
The swan
swan
paddle
boats.
boats.
They
Yeah.
never get old. They're so funny.
Yeah,
I
they're
love 'em.
darling. I think they're beautiful. We've got a montage of very highly curated scenes. We've got Kyle bobbing up and down on a Peloton like she's starring in a commercial. It's like she was already doing the pedaling in slow-mo, but then the slow-mo was layered on top of it. And I was all, oh God, is this really? I don't know if it could be me, but God bless. Sutton has the first scene in earnest. She is driving to her bestie's house, which is Jennifer Tilly. And, when she drives by Kathy's house and honks, I just wanted to, do a little gag because I am not, especially now, Kathy Hilton and I, it's just not a good match. We're oil and vinegar, but not in, a good vinaigrette way. It's just, she's a billionaire or close to billionaire, and you know how I feel about that. My point is,
she's completely lost touch. Like I've had the experience recently of working with someone who's separated from the masses in that way, and they lose a sense of how to behave around humanity. Yeah, ending with her tearing her hair extensions out at a party. It's just crazy. So I just think she's crazy. She's gone into cartoonishly eccentric billionaire status. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I absolutely agree. 100%.
And she don't give a shit, and she don't have to.
Literally,
And
I
honestly,
had that in my notes later.
What a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I thought Sutton looked beautiful. I loved her hair and her dress.
Stunning.
And yeah.
Stunning.
She looked great. She looked like a little ballet dancer.
She really did. Everything.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved her whole outfit. I just did. And then
I loved her little Sex in the City walk up to the door. It was kind of silent, so you could hear her little clicking heels. Jennifer Tilly's cobblestone.
She so fascinates me, Sutton does. Yeah, I was excited to see Jennifer Tilly when they announced her as a friend of. Jennifer Tilly is also an extremely wealthy woman.
Jennifer Tilly's home felt like I would love to go there. The tiles were beautiful. It felt like a place where you could sit and have fun. And Kathy's house just feels like it's nice to look at, but it looks like a catalog. It doesn't look like a place to gather.
Yeah,
I can't believe I said that word, but
no, I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't seem like a social environment. It's like a showpiece.
Kathy shops at the rich stores, and she has the decorators to the rich people. Her house is so traditional. Her outfits are just the most matronly, god-awful things I could ever possibly imagine wearing under the age of, you know what? No, I'm not even going to say over an old age. When I'm in my 80s, I'm going to rock muumuus with metallic threads woven throughout and just a fuck ton of jewelry. And I'm going to have my own style until my last breath leaves my body, right? Kathy and Jennifer Tilly they just could not be more different. You can definitely see Jennifer's essence in all of her style.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, I find her extremely fascinating. She's fucking Jennifer Tilly, dude.
Including her big old statement lip in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, actually. They both
The rug on the ground. I just loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. They have a very very curated conversation about Sutton's kids.
First of all,
it was
hold on. Can we say it starts with the longest pour of vodka I've ever seen in my life, and bad vodka that's been sitting in a shelf for 20 years. I was Sutton.
But does alcohol go bad?
I don't know if it does. Probably not, but I don't know. I don't know. But I guess it could. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But it just was Sutton talked about how there were friends, travel buddies and lunch buddies and all this stuff. And I was like, are you guys drinking buddies? Because it feels like that must be central to lots of that.
Agreed. I'm sure. No doubt. And I love that, when Sutton's like, Jenna's my best friend. We go to lunch, and it's a shot of the two of them front row at Fashion Week, probably in Paris, or in Milan. not a domestic fashion week. This is an international fashion week where they're sitting. Like, these ladies are rich, rich.
Yeah.
Like Lisa Rinna would say, you're rich, rich, honey. Oh, God, good riddance. I'm still so grateful she's not here. That's my early antidepressant. Lisa Rinna isn't on this season.
Yeah, didn't even
Rude.
cross my mind. Do not miss.
Rude. So, yeah, they have a very curated conversation, sounded rehearsed.
Jennifer Tilly looked bored
Sutton's
as I
kids.
was. Like, oh, one of them's going to law school. Then they'll
Yep.
both be.
And
So
then
boring.
Merce Cunningham is resurrected.
Didn't
and
need
they
it.
talk-
Too much
they
work.
talk about
too much exposition.
Exactly.
Don't care.
That exactly. Margaret. Yes. That's exactly what it was.
Just say you're having a surrealist party and let's
right.
move it along, guys. I
Right.
don't need to know what inspired it and that it was from the trip. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Just put on your weird hats and get together.
Oh, my God. That's what I forgot this morning. Damn it. I forgot my antlers. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Maybe next week. No, I don't have antlers.
Oh, I thought you did. I was like, oh my God. I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes in your Christmas decorations, there's these like cool, I don't know, like cool vintage things. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had some sort of antler situation.
I don't have any kind of antler head piece, but I remain open. Open. She does touch upon how she was mean to Kyle last season a little bit. And she shares that they went to dinner. And it was awkward for a few minutes, but she softened and she was happy to be reunited with her friend. And what brought her that is that, after a little time, I can relate to this too. You see something that would make that one person that you've got tension with laugh. And you go, God, I wish I could tell that one person I was thinking of them and that I thought they would enjoy this. And so that was a nice, relatable moment from one Sutton Strack that we saw. Anything before we leave Chateau Tilly?
Nah.
All right. Erika Jane arrives at the Pacific Design Center in the heart of West Hollywood. And the PDC, as I refer to it, because that's what it's referred to in LA. I mean, I guess not to everybody maybe, but maybe 2 years I was an executive assistant at an interior design / architect firm, the same one where I have my 1 degree separation of the Highlands of Hilton and Highland.
Oh.
Remember, I think I talked about this
yeah.
the very first time we talked about Beverly Hills. Well, also, just to bring another franchise in, I did not consider myself to work in interior design or architecture. I considered myself to be an executive assistant at an interior design and architecture firm. So I don't know if that's how Bronwyn and I are different. That's just all I have to say. My point is, it was one of the more pivotal gigs I had in LA because the office I worked in was right behind Sunset Plaza. And for those of you that watch Selling Sunset and are familiar with the Oppenheimer group, Oppenheim.
Oppenheim. Mm-hmm.
The Oppenheim twins? Yes, not Oppenheimer. So my office was literally one parking lot across from where the O Group is on Sunset Boulevard. So I've been to that Coffee Bean, if it's still a Coffee Bean. I've been to Chin Chin a million times. Oh, God, shout out to Chin Chin and their chicken salad. The PDC is also right there. So my boss would send me to go return swatches of fabric or pick up swatches of fabric. I was tasked with picking out my own. He would give me direction and show me examples and be like, pull some stuff like this. I learned so much from that man. Also, one of the most stressful jobs I ever had. One of the very rich people, probably Kathy Hilton level rich, when she would call the office, she would refer to me as the girl or is that girl. Oh, where's the girl? Where's the girl? Where's the girl? My God. But the Highlands were never like that. They were always very kind to me on the phone. Anyway, Erika Jane rolls up to the PDC, and I know how much money you have to shop there. You don't buy shit off the rack at the PDC. You don't just go in and pick out a couch. You pick out the fabric for your custom-made couch.
No one is ever in that place except assistants to billionaires.
Yes, it is. Can confirm.
It is
confirm.
I went there a bunch during the pandemic just because it was it's a pretty campus and whatever. But
it's gorgeous.
And it's fun to just sort of, look at all the stuff there. But it is not for, it's not for, I don't know. I just thought it was, again, Erika confuses me with I'm still not over all of these people who lost family members in tragic ways, not having enough money to bury them properly. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to spend $500,000 on a new couch because the old one reminds me of Tom. It's like,
Yeah.
these other people are constantly reminded of Tom because their loved one is dead or burned to a crisp and they can't do anything about it because Tom spent all their money. Like,
exactly.
What is wrong with this woman?
I mean, so many fucking
I just have
things.
to get over it. But
so many things.
And Dorit didn't say anything. She was just like, yeah, definitely get a $10,000 paperweight here for sure.
Erika has Z Gallerie money, okay? She doesn't have PDC money. And I don't know what the fuck she was doing in there. That's my whole point. Not my business, but I just...
She must have money now. She must be with someone or... I don't know. We'll see what couches she emerges with.
Yeah, I just wonder if it was for show that she even had that thing there. Anyway.
Well, she seemed to say it was therapist directed. And then they did a little flashback to her sitting on the couches that remind her of her mansion with Tom.
Oh, that's right. I can't believe I forgot to mention TV's Dr. Jen, well, I don't know her. She doesn't go by Berman anymore. That's how I know her because of Celebrity Rehab.
I think she's just Dr. Jen. And she looked like she was starting to feel the effects of selling her soul from being on this show. Maybe it was just the sepia tone of the flashback, but she looked someone who was concerned all of her integrity was slipping away.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
good.
Or maybe I was just projecting my feelings onto her. Like, please be someone who is concerned about all of your integrity slipping away by supporting this woman, complaining about her mansion couches and needing to get rid of them for a fresh start in her tragically tiny 2,500 square foot home.
I wonder if, I don't know about you, Margie, but I have had therapists or sponsors in the past that would give me, or like if I was working through the artist way and in one of the first 3 weeks, like the easiest weeks of the artist way, you have to go on like artist dates once a week. And sometimes it's like you just take yourself to a place that sparks your creativity, you know? And so I wonder if maybe she was there, not because she can afford it, but because she was given direction. Like, and this would be like the most fucking LA thing of all time to do. Like, go window shop at a store that you'd like to shop at when your abundance comes to you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That could very well be.
Aspirational window shopping or something?
Yes. So, I don't know, just speculating. Dorit arrives in the most gorgeous fucking Range Rover I have ever seen in my life. And I am firmly team EV. But goddamn, did I have some ice envy looking at that car. It was just beautiful interior, beautiful exterior. Dorit just comes strutting out and she cut a striking pose. I am not going to lie, and I'm not a fan, but she looked stunning.
Yeah, she looked great. And then she comes in and offers good news, bad news. Erika chooses bad news. We never hear any good news because she drops the bomb that she and PK have agreed to separate.
Yep.
And then Erika has the weirdest reaction. This like hyper emotional, weepy. I was like, don't do that. You're the one who, and thank God Dorit acknowledged it. She's like, I'm sure it's weird that I'm confiding in Erika after what she said at BravoCon, where she made a whole scene of being like, the next relationship definitely to fail is going to be PK and Dorit. And it was a problem between them last season. And, you know, I think we all knew she was right. But
yeah,
this was it does show you how deep the rift between Dorit and Kyle is. If Dorit is
siding with your foes and your enemies.
Yeah, and debuting this information via Erika. It was just weird.
It was so weird.
And sad.
It struck me as odd that, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, and maybe it's a nothing burger, but like every time Dorit shared her bad news, whether it was to Kathy, Erika at the design center, when she was talking with Bose, the party leader on this episode, she was like smiling as she's saying, I'm getting separated. And this is what it was. This is what it was like before. It was striking to me. Like, to smile through the tragedy of it all. I don't know.
I don't
know.
It might be that thing of like, when you have to tell so many people bad news, at a certain point, you don't want the reaction Erika gives because it's like exhausting. Then it's like, now I have to take care of you. And like, this is already terrible for me. So I'm going to try and present it in this pleasant way. And can I just give this to you as information instead of something for you to
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
But I did also think what I found curious about how Dorit delivered this information is to every person. Basically, she turned 3/4 to camera, if not straight to camera, to say we're separating because PK is a raging alcoholic and always has been. I was like, oh my God. And she even said, she's like, he's in the program. He's working the steps. He's on a sobriety journey. I was like, oh my God, this is not your story to tell just yet. It felt really don't blame me for the failure of this marriage. I didn't do anything wrong. And by the way, I never thought she did. Again, as you know, my conspiracy theory, I'm with Garcelle. I think PK set up that home invasion, did not anticipate the impact it would have on Dorit, resents her for it. And I'll be curious to see what goes on with that guy's ninth step.
Allegedly. Oh, yeah, me too.
He's got some amends to make.
And speaking of it all, we have the flashbacks of PK's opinions on Dorit's PTSD.
It's annoying.
And I'm not sure what's a bad habit and what's really PTSD. Are you fucking kidding me? And so she says that PK was drinking. They were fighting all the time. She asked him to dry out. He did. And then they have the flashback to the reunion where Andy asks Dorit, how are you and PK doing? Better than ever, Andy. And the fucking skeptical eye roll heard round the Bravo-verse was bullshit. Just trust your gut. Trust your gut. We weren't wrong.
No, I think everyone saw the writing on the wall. But I have been in that situation when you're with someone who's spiraling and then they do clean up, and it is really hopeful for a minute.
It is.
And then
that's true.
It's the whole reason the 12 steps exist. Just because you're dry doesn't mean your defects of character disappear. And it takes a lot of work to figure out what agitated you to the point to drink in excess and how to live in a world when you can't soothe yourself in that way. And that's a big project. I'm actually quite proud of PK for doing it. It sounds like he is invested in it. Who knows? But I'm glad he's still sober for his kids' sake. Like Dorit said, fighting in front of the kids like that was not sustainable.
Mm-hmm. And those fights were happening while he was drinking, but sounds like they got worse and more escalated once the alcohol was taken away.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you, just to piggyback on what you just said, it's never about the substance. It's about what drives you to the substance. What is the substance helping you stuff down?
And nobody wants to acknowledge that a marriage has to end. I don't even blame them for taking the time they did, but it seems clear that they both got clear on that this was just not. But I am so confused by their decision not to tell their children. It's so irresponsible.
I am disgusted.
8 and 10 is quite old, actually. PK at one point is nobody knows our children better than us. And I'm nobody knows you better than your children. You think you keep shit from them? Bullshit. You and I both know, especially in an alcoholic household, you are paying attention to they know. This is embarrassing for them, especially to announce on national TV, we're not going to tell them. Just tell them. It's so rude. It's their lives. It's their house. It's their story. It really bothered me.
It bothered me to no end. I have notes on it later, but yes. Again,
none of this our business, but they put it on TV.
Right. They put it on TV. Again, it just is evidence that people do not take children seriously when they should. Anyway, I don't need to go off about that right this second.
I just hope they're in therapy, the kids, but if they're not acknowledging their divorce or separated, whatever, that distinction is not relevant to a child, that they don't need to know the difference between, but I guess it happened gradually enough that vagueness is really destabilizing for kids, for adults too, but especially for kids.
It's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's just completely ignoring the fact that, yes, these people can't drive a car and they don't contribute to the household finances, but they are worthy of respect and honesty, just like someone who is over the age of 18. Don't even get me started. So Erika says that she's seeing Kyle after she wraps up with Dorit. Dorit says, please don't tell her. Please don't tell her. So we pivot to Kyle's house. Oh, Lord, please just give me some compassion for this woman. Please, please. I mean this in earnest. Like, she confesses that she's gone through a lot of change since the reunion. And as we all know from the blogs and then her telling us on this episode the other night, she and Mo are separated. He moved out about 2 weeks before they started filming. So I'm sure everything is fresh and raw. And Alexia also moved out within that time. So she's now doing all of the things around the house that Mo used to take care of. And I think I've shared about this in the podcast before. I feel a bit of shame about the fact that I met my husband when I was 38. I lived by myself. I lived on my own since I was 20. So I had my own little teeny tiny toolkit, but I had it. I knew how to do shit. I moved my own furniture. I could check my own fucking air on my tires. Like, I know that none of that stuff is revolutionary or makes me any kind of powerful woman, but I was self-sufficient is what I'm saying. Cut to me entering into a relationship with a man that has a tool for everything, can, build a 1967 Cougar from scrap, blows my tires up in the driveway with some portable thing he got at a hardware store. Like, I don't know how to do shit anymore. And it does scare me. And I talked to him about it, and it's just something that I think about. So I could relate to Kyle at that point. Anyway.
I think most people can. I don't think there's any shame. Like, why would you? There's no reason
I
to spend your
know.
life like gearing up for if it ends. It's like,
I know.
that's a
a very
crazy
good
way to
point.
live. Enjoy the partnership. And then
I know. You're right. You're right. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a
And
really
like
good
she's
point.
doing, she'll figure it out. She's not going to never watch TV again or never, or maybe she won't ever turn the lights on in her hot tub and then she'll just live that life. Like there's, yeah, I think that's what's beautiful about a partnership is that both people bring something different to the table and
it's true. It's
lean in,
totally
baby.
true. It's totally true. I guess yeah. I guess it's just like any excuse to beat myself up. I'm just going to fucking like look at that opportunity like, oh, look at that. You don't do
Yeah.
things you used to do around the house anymore. Let's pick that up and let's pick up that whip and slap yourself around with it. So if Sophia isn't home, it's just Kyle and Portia. And she says, it's not how I expected my life to be. And she gets visibly emotional and asks production to hold while she dabs her tears. I am so sick of Kyle's histrionics without any change. That's the intolerance that you're hearing.
Yeah.
I'm very intolerant to her right now. I'm very intolerant to her commitment to victimhood. I'm intolerant to her commitment to
That's fair. That's
asking of
interesting.
others what she can't do herself. And I know where it comes from. I would, I feel like I can confidently say where it comes from. But it's like, I've been watching you for 14 years, woman. I've been watching you for 14 years. Judge other people, cry about other people and how they've wronged you. And yet you have remained stagnant. I've seen no growth from the first time she yelled at her sister and said, you're a liar and an alcoholic in the back of a limousine in season 1 to now when she gaslights Dorit at the very end of the fucking episode and is like, what's happening to you? Why are you acting like this? Like, because you are not taking any accountability for your fucking side. That's why I'm talking to you like this, Kyle. Kyle's so offensive to Dorit, my least favorite housewife of probably every single franchise. And I was firmly team Dorit when I turned the TV off after watching. Erika arrives and she tells Kyle that she met with Dorit previously. And Kyle immediately doesn't go, oh, how was it? Or how is she doing? It's just like, yeah, well, we've had a lot in between us. It's like, Kyle, just shut up. Shut up and don't make this about you for 2 seconds. How about that? How about that, Kyle?
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
it's tough. I weirdly have I have some sympathy for her in the same way I had some sympathy for Alexis on OC. It's so fresh. 2 weeks after 30 years of marriage, your husband is gone now. Your daughters are gone. Like I imagine it is like, I don't know if, and she doesn't know Dorit's going through a separation, right? So like, I don't know.
She does not know.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. Everyone has a lot has a lot. That for
You're
once,
right.
it's Erika who can travel in between lightly, with no baggage. But everyone else is sort of carrying quite a lot.
That's because
But
all
I'm
of her
also, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, that's because her dastardly deeds are going on behind the scenes where
Yes.
she's causing small independent designers to go out of business because she doesn't pay her bills. Allegedly.
Sent to jail.
Right. She's a terrible,
Yeah,
terrible
she's not a great
criminal.
person.
Erika speculates that Kyle, your issues with Dorit go back to 2 reunions ago when she inserted herself into the conversation that you and Kathy were having. And yeah, if I'm having a conversation with my sister and some person that walks up and is not prone to like knowing about my childhood in intimate details and then like offers her 2 cents, you can get the fuck out of here. Like,
Especially in an effort to just like
security.
kiss a billionaire's ass. Like there's
Exactly.
that added layer too of
Exactly.
like, oh, you just want to go to her Christmas party, so you're gonna
Yep.
do this on the reunion. Yeah, that was a really gross moment. I've almost nearly forgotten it.
I just really appreciate, though, I want to appreciate and acknowledge the editors of of Tuesday's episode because they included the flashback of Kathy saying, Kyle acts like a martyr. Kyle, you act like a martyr. It's true. It is true. That is Kyle's role in her alcoholic family system, for sure. She's the martyr and the victim. We have a lot of back and forth right now. We see a flashback to Erika Jane and Dorit's conversation at the design center where Dorit says, like, our friendship feels unbalanced, Like, if I do one thing wrong, we don't talk for months. But she can say and do whatever she wants, and I have to take it. That's the worst. That's the worst kind of dynamic to have in a relationship. And I saw Dorit. I saw Dorit there. I did. I think that everyone can agree that the origin of the tension between Dorit and Kyle is Kyle's now infamous Amazon Live, where she tells everyone in the Bravoverse our friendship wasn't as close as like she's making out to see.
So unkind.
It was low. It was
because
cruel
again,
and
and it
gross.
also makes us all feel like idiots because it's
Yep.
like we watched the whole show and like, yes, they grew apart last season when Kyle got sober, but you could feel them growing apart. It was like Velcro being pulled apart. It wasn't an easy split because they never liked each other anyway. It's just like, it's just shitty and I found it like unnecessarily mean.
Oh,
So
it was
I
completely
understand Dorit's hurt feelings, and I would be really bothered by that too. It's humiliating.
It was humiliating. And again, Kyle completely removes any of her culpability in any of the situations. It's just, she's so gross, dude. She's so gnarly. And then she tells Erika that she's still hurt about how Dorit answered the rank of the fucking Hilton sisters on her favorite to her least favorite at BravoCon 2023.
That was so stupid. And I'm so glad they showed the clip.
Me too.
Because it was just, Dorit was clearly joking because Kyle bumped her arm and spilled Dorit's drink.
Just spilled a drink on her.
Literally goes like, well, I guess obviously it's Kathy then, because you spilled my, like, it was so, for Kyle to bring that up in any serious way was like, either you are so disconnected from reality that you've turned that into an actual indictment of Dorit, or you know exactly what you're doing and you're just trying to manipulate us and hope they don't play the clip, hope they don't roll it in here. But
I'm so glad they did.
Me too.
And Erika Jane, after Kyle's done pleading her side, please understand my side before we get any further, Erika says to us, I was really surprised by her perspective I was surprised by her perspective because it seemed so evolved. She says, to me, these transgressions seem small, but to them, it's big. That's it. She's just validating both of their experiences. That's all. Whether she agrees with them or not, she's not judging her friends for them not seeming real to them. So,
yeah,
kudos.
To Erika
Broken
Jane,
clocks twice a day.
People not having enough money to bury their loved ones is small. To them, it's big.
Yeah. We see another flashback to the design center when Dorit says something about Kyle. She says, Kyle is more of a master manipulator than I ever realized. And I said, no shit, Dorit. She's an untreated Al-Anon/adult child of an alcoholic. Manipulation is now a part of her cellular makeup. It's in the wiring of her brain at this point. manipulation can include playing the victim, which we can all agree is her special skill on her IMDb page. This is something that she could teach a masterclass in, is how to be a victim. Thankfully, anything else to say before we leave Kyle's house? We pivot to Atlanta for Garcelle's package. Oliver's arrived for a visit. She's there because she's working on 2 projects. We catch up on all of the successes that Garcelle is currently enjoying as a result of her dedication and ridiculously hard work. And I am so freaking happy for her. I cannot wait to watch the movie. I might watch both of them, but I'm trying to keep shit light right now. And so Tempted by Love sounds like it's right up my alley.
Hilarious. It's great. She's so cute. I love the little shot of her tying up her Adidas shell toes and putting on her little dress and walking out.
I loved it.
She seems to she's doing great. And I loved her commentary on, everyone says when you turn 40, you're done in this industry. And she's like, I'm in my 50s and I've never been busier. And I just thought that was really, it's just exciting for her, for everyone.
I love it. And she's the only one, I don't know what's up with Sutton's store. I don't know if I think they closed the actual physical storefront, but I think she still has her circular fashion business. I don't know Bose well enough to know what she's doing now that she's retired. I'm thrilled for her that, maybe she's just kicking it on a super yacht. But yeah, exactly.
Resting, I hope.
Exactly. But Garcelle is of the original cast, she's the one that's got the most going on professionally, which is probably why she can do this show and not be completely bowled over by the absurdity of it all. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm grounded. I have real shit going on. This party is fun, but Kyle, Dorit, please, So, I'm so glad. I'm so glad she's back. We get the big dun-dun Thursday, May 9. Dorit and PK drop the announcement that they're separating. Garcelle reads the Instagram post and jokes, well, of course it's long-winded because it's Dorit. Hilarious. She did share in that, now scene that everyone on Reddit is already calling iconic, where she's
in the
smoking
car with the
a
cigarette?
menthol in the car. She said,
was it a menthol?
I think it was. I think it was.
No. Oh my God.
I think so.
She's really hitting a rock bottom. It's so great. I love that. I loved it so much. Mm-hmm. She looks great and she looks completely distraught, and the cigarette was so unexpected and I just loved it. And you don't normally see smoking on TV,
You don't.
So
you don't.
I guess if the show airs at 9 p.m. or whatever, it's good to go, and I loved it.
She said, where did she say it? In the after show or something, that she was I guess there were paparazzi following her.
Oh, please. She wishes. Come on, Dorit. Nobody cares that much. I'm sorry.
I fell for it.
Maybe it's true, but I just can't imagine.
So she rolls up to Kathy fucking Hilton's house, and I don't like Kathy Hilton. I don't care. I think it's gross. Whatever.
Such a weird choice.
It was.
Too. I was like,
weird.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
And
the day of the announcement? This is nuts.
I don't think she used the term ironic correctly.
What did she say?
She said it was ironic that she used to be close with Kyle, but the first person's house I'm going to for support is her sister Kathy's house.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the correct word.
I didn't think so. This conversation was
unexpected.
Unexpected for sure.
I'll say that.
So she catches Kathy up with everything.
Kathy could not give a shit.
Couldn't even lift her own protein drink. Yeah, it was honestly.
She's just covered in gel masks and has someone doing her hair, and then was clearly disappointed. She commented on Dorit's hair and said, I like this hair. And Dorit's like, oh, I slept in it and just brushed it out. And Kathy literally looks like, ew. I don't know.
God,
Dorit was trying to play it cool, and she got it wrong.
While Dorit and Kathy are having their conversation, it's kind of cut with conversations between Mauricio and PK. So Mauricio is wrapping up a fake work call at Henry. Henry? I don't know. That opened up after I moved, so I don't even know that place. I know they've been there on Vanderpump. PK meets him, and he catches Mo up. He's crying. And Mo just seemed so smarmy and disingenuous to me and scripted and insincere. And PK tells him, but you and Kyle are an inspiration to me. Oh, okay. The one genuine moment that Mauricio had in his scene with PK, though, was his facial expression when PK told him they weren't going to share it with the kids.
Yes.
Now,
He was all of us. We were like, what?
I was like, oh, okay, good. He is not a pod person. I don't have experience being separated. I don't have experience being divorced with a child or separating with a child. But no one, and I don't mean anyone I know peripherally or even non-peripherally who has separated or divorced with children, I don't know anyone who has done that with children who are 8 and 10 years old. And I want to be like real crystal fucking clear. I feel myself getting choked up. Children are smart. They are perceptive. They notice it all. Their parents are their entire world and universe. And up until a certain age, children don't know that their parents are separate from them. They consider those people to be literal and physical extensions of their own selves. And they're real fucking people. And I would argue that they're more aware of adult behavior than other adults. You know, childhood is where coping skills and messages about how to cope are born. And I find their decision to be bewildering, careless, short-sighted, and it's like insulting. It's like they don't have any faith in their kids. And I'm sure they believe they're doing the right thing, but they're just going to see their mommy and daddy smiling, and Dorit puts on that affected voice when she talks to her kids, which I've talked about before on the podcast, that I find so disrespectful. And daddy doesn't live here anymore, but daddy is just working. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm at a loss. And then we go right into Dorit's telling Kathy that they're not going to tell the kids and insists that she and PK are not in a toxic place. PK has a sober coach. Great. I don't know, dude. Maybe it's not toxic, but at the very fucking least, it's a cataclysmic shift and transition, and like, what the fuck to not tell these kids?
I mean, it is and it's not. It's almost like when my mom sat my sister and I down to tell us that she and our dad were getting divorced. And we were like, who cares? He hasn't lived here in like 3 years. We never see him. And that's a relief, you know? PK, remember last season, a huge part of their story was that he was gone all the time. He was in London. Remember, he was supposed to go for 1 week and then suddenly it turned into like 6 months. And she was like, So it does seem like the kids are accustomed to not having him around, but I just don't know what it gets them. Again, 8 and 10 is not toddler. Like they are functioning, and they're like part of why, or at least in my experience as a kid, I think part of why I was so aware of what was going on under the roof is because my security depended on these two people staying alive and functional. I don't know. I just hope. I don't know. And also it's on TV now. I hope they've told them by now. Like this is just, it just seems nuts. But what do I know? Again, it's traumatic. I don't have any real answers, but I did think it was interesting when PK was so distraught about being separated and Mauricio was literally just, he's like, well, I'm a year out and it's fine. And I think there's something really wonderful about that of like, you do see, because Mauricio was hurt and bummed out last season. And now he's like, it's fine. Who gives a shit? Like there's a couple bad days, but otherwise move it along.
I know.
But they don't belong together, you know?
No.
It was.
Yeah,
agreed. And it's sad when something that's been built for that long has to be dismantled. But like, yeah, anyways.
I just, when it felt to me like Kathy or like Dorit was trying to convince Kathy of how okay she is. And it was just giving like the lady doth protest too much. And I understand like everyone is just, giving Dorit a collective standing ovation right now because she's expressing anger. I still don't think that this woman is showing up in a genuine way. I still get contrived and scripted from Dorit.
Yeah,
I don't
but I
know.
also think it's the first episode,
You're
you
right. You're
know?
right. It's
So,
the
like,
first
everyone's
episode and
putting
she
on a
just
show.
got separated. You're right. You're
Even
right.
Jennifer
You're
Tilly,
right.
her first scene, I was like, "What is this? Take it
Mm-hmm.
down 20,000 notches, would you please? Like, we saw you last season and you were a regular person. Who is
Right.
this crazy
Exactly.
lady?"
Yeah, that's a very
We'll
good
get
point.
there.
That's
We'll
a very
get
good point.
there.
That's a very good point.
They even start to drop into it by the time that party happens.
Yeah.
Like, once,
Yeah. That's true. God, I'm just trying to be cognizant of the time, but
Well, we don't
we're
have to rush. If we don't get to OC, or we don't have to.
okay. PK tells Mo, I got sober, I got clear, and then immediately shows us how much work he has to do. Because I don't know about you, Margie, but to me, it sure seemed like Dorit was the root of his problems. Dorit isn't a good listener. I have news for it takes two to fucking tango, PK. It takes
But
two to
that's the
tango.
thing is like with Kyle and Mauricio, like with PK and Dorit, they are no longer a good match.
Yeah.
Like this, I've worked on this in therapy a bunch of like, it doesn't, there, every relationship I leave, I can't need to be the winner. We're just a bad match. We're not a good
Right.
match anymore. And
I
like
just
both PK and Dorit are trying to win. PK's an alcoholic. Dorit doesn't listen. It's like, you guys,
Yeah.
you are just,
Okay.
you got sober and you got clear that this is not the person that you enjoy spending time with at all anymore. Tell your
Yeah.
kids and like, but maybe
Yeah.
because it's so new, I don't know.
Kathy kind of like the conversation in both little scenes pivot to their social life, like Kathy's like, do you guys have sex? No. Like, do you get jealous when he goes out to dinner? And she's like, God, no. And then we see PK's side where it's like, when we were first dating, like we were Bonnie and Clyde. She was always there. She was curating my parties. Like, oh God,
Strange
okay.
choice of words.
Completely,
Like, curating
right?
the evenings. Like,
It
what?
was so
Okay.
lame. But life got in the way. He went away for work. And then he's like, I worked to sustain my and Dorit's way of life, lifestyle, and that he supported her ambitions, hinting that he worked so that she could maybe do this show or her wedding
Beverly
gown
Beach.
or Beverly Beach. He wanted space to see what problems were caused by him and what problems were caused by her, essentially. And I don't get the sense at all yet that he is willing and able to see his part in his own life. I'm sorry, I don't. He's talking about her way too much. And my spidey senses that get alerted and go on hypervigilant mode when I'm around an alcoholic, sensing for BS, was like all turned all the way up because that's who I grok him to be for me. But he does say he can't recover unless he has space between them. I want to have faith that he really means this and that he's not just using an AA platitude to kind of like be like, well, I'm sober. I got to do this. I want him to really mean it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't even know if he knows if he really means yet, but it makes
You're right.
sense.
You're so much more compassionate.
No, I just feel like I want to believe in his. This is the first. Lots of people have quit drinking on all of these shows, but this is the first person who it does actually sound like is going to meetings and trying to work the 12 steps. So I'm really curious to see how it does play out.
Yeah, I am
and
too.
I also don't appreciate him. It does seem like both of them are trying to like get their first scene on camera at the beginning of the season to like really make sure that everyone knows it's not their fault, it's the other person's fault. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
And also Dorit doesn't listen. And if I was in a marriage with Dorit, I would be like, oh my God, I have to leave. All you do is talk at me and I can't be heard. And this is terrible. Like,
yeah, I agree.
So they're not a match.
She says to Kathy, this is not what I wanted. Like I didn't want this. I stuck by PK through his bankruptcy, his DUIs.
Oh my God, she's so rude.
I mean,
she just lists it all on camera to Kathy Hilton, who could give a shit. Anyways,
I know, and of course she's sharing all this stuff with a smile on her face. It's just so wild. Anything before we leave PK, Mo, and Dorit and Kathy Hilton?
I don't think so. I just thought it was interesting that Kathy honed in right away on their sex life. I was like, oh my God, Kathy, like there's 10,000 bigger issues on the table right here.
Honestly.
And she's like, are you guys still fucking? It's like, okay, this woman does not have compassion. She just is a gossip.
No social cues, just completely like this is again a woman who's like fucking the Night King from Game of Thrones. Come at me, bitch. I'm a billionaire. I can act and do whatever I want. I'm rubber. You're glue. I'm Teflon. You're whatever not Teflon is. It's just, I can't imagine that way. I can't imagine living like that.
The weirdest tour Dorit took herself on to fill people in on this news.
You're not
Erika
lying, man.
To Kathy, it was just like,
oh,
okay.
not lying.
All right.
So we pivot to the getting ready montages, and straight off, we've got Kyle FaceTiming her sister, Kyle FaceTiming her family of origin, Kathy, and Kyle just shows us how committed she is to her victimhood and how much her ego and her need for control are in the driver's seat for the 14th season.
What do you mean?
14th.
What did she say in that conversation?
She
I don't remember.
she says she feels like she should text Dorit because she texted PK, but if she does that, Dorit's just going to say it was a manipulation. And I said, how about you just think about your equally contrived friend who is navigating a painful fucking change? And then she has the balls to tell her sister, I know who I am and what my intentions are.
Good, then send the text.
So
who cares what Dorit says?
So if you really think that, Kyle, if you really think that, there should be no ego involved. And if your intent is to express wishes of pure healing love to your friend, and you truly know who you are, you can hit send and let go of how it's received. But Kyle can't do that. Instead, she sits in her righteousness and stays in what she perceives to be her safety, and she's just full of fucking shit. I just can't. 14 seasons of her manipulative bullshit. I hope everyone sees it. I hope I'm not screaming into the void. I don't care that much, but like, Kyle is not a victim. She's just not.
No, and this was in really poor taste. Like, this is a separation of a marriage. Like, just, it doesn't matter how it's perceived. There are certain things, like, if Dorit was, the paparazzi caught her getting out of the car and she flashed her butt, like, you don't have to text then. But when a marriage dissolves, yeah, just go ahead and say something, especially if you send it to her husband. Then it's just like weird and pointedly avoiding her. I don't know. It's that whole thing. My sponsor in my primary program would always say, like, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, will you be happy with the choices you made today? And it's like, if I was Kyle, I would not be happy that I held off to punish Dorit. Mm-hmm. Would you be glad if she got hit by a bus the next day that you never said, I'm really sorry you're going through a hard time? Like, if so, then you're truly a terrible person.
I can see Kyle like under the bus wheel, like, but my intentions were good, but I didn't tell her, but she's gonna think I was being fake. Whatever. God. We have arrivals at the party, the surrealism party.
This was amazing.
I just really, Jennifer Tilly arrives giving Black Swan.
Can we just say one thing first?
Yes,
I just want to
100%.
Speak to Sutton. They had a flashback to like the beginning of the day when the party was just beginning to be set up. Everything was in boxes, and Sutton's like, "This looks terrible. This party's nothing like we said it was going to be." I was like, "You are the worst kind of employer on the planet. You are so because the party looked spectacular." And Sutton was out there like micromanaging these people, working their asses off to put this together. And like, I don't know. I'm sure you've worked for people like that. I have too. Just a reminder. Again, these shows are a reminder of like, don't ever behave like that. Like, trust the process. And also, it's a party. Let it go.
Yeah.
If it looks ugly, then you had an ugly party. Have another someday. And like, it's just so the way you feel about Kyle is how I feel about Sutton.
I know.
The
and
way
I'm trying
you
to get
express
there.
yourself when you think, no, and I'm not trying to.
No, I think I should be there with you. I do.
I just react to her because I just find her entitlement and classism to be like really painful.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
and so they show that flashback to the place looking not ready yet. And then the party starts and as Sutton said, it's great. There's oddities everywhere. There's girls in the pool. There's like a monkey, both a live monkey and a weird, terrifying puppet monkey that I never need to see again except in my nightmares.
Yeah, agree.
And I don't know. I don't think anyone like looked phenomenal, but like the overall look of the event was really cool. It was a great
Agreed.
opening season party.
Agreed.
Anyways.
I love Jennifer's outfit. Sutton's outfit was a bore. I don't like anything Dorit wears. I did not like this. I was finishing taking my notes and Leo walked in and it was just like maybe the last 10 minutes of the episode before the cat lady started performing.
Oh,
Lord. I would not let him watch that.
I do appreciate Dorit taking a big swing, though. Like, they always say it's worse to be forgettable than, like the worst thing is to be forgettable. Dorit is never forgettable. She was wearing like some weird jersey beret with, like a giant record.
Yeah.
A double vinyl record. I don't know what it was, but it
plastic disc.
It held my attention.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just and the petty part of me when Sutton, like the two uber rich ladies are just talking to like one Dorit Kemsley and like, oh, is your dress going to help keep you from getting STDs? And then Jennifer Tilly's face is like, you can tell her going, good one, Sutton. That was hilarious. And like Jennifer Tilly's face when Sutton was like fingering the plastic on Dorit's dress was just fucking chef's kiss. Bose arrives in she's a vision of fluff. And she and Sutton are friends because they both have fuck you money. That's it. They are in the category of rich. They're in super yacht rich category. And rich recognizes rich, This is irony when Dorit's in the confessional and she's like, oh, Bose got the assignment. Like, yeah, you don't get to say who gets the assignment, ma'am. I'm sorry. You're not the fashionista, fashion maven that you think you are. You buy labels. That's it. Anyone can buy labels with money. That's all I have to say.
I do just want to make the distinction between Bose and Sutton in that Bose earned her fuck you money.
Oh, thank you.
And
yes.
Sutton married into it, which is like, you wind up with equal fuck you money, but there's an added groundedness in Bose's presence because she's been in the world, she's existed having to function with other human beings. And I really, really appreciate her presence in this cast. I think she's going to,
I agree.
Because she just suffers no fools. She sees everything for exactly what it is, whether you're rich or not. She's like, like they showed in the previews when Kyle runs away and she's like, where's she going?
Yeah, where is she going?
Like, what are you doing?
Hopefully to therapy or Al-Anon for a very long time. Yes. Sierra Tucson, a luxury rehab in Arizona. I highly recommend it. I've never, never mind. I have been there, but not for the reason why you think.
To visit or
To
not?
visit, yes,
Okay.
for a family week. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sure.
Yes. Oh, that's right. We had a group chat. You, me, and Beth had a group chat about that rehab in Arizona.
Yeah.
All roads lead to, anyway. Dorit launches straight into her separation story and PK's alcoholism with Bose, who she's literally met 10 seconds ago. And we learn that Bose was married but is now widowed. They separated, but he got cancer and they reconciled. So they're having a meeting of their hearts. And I was happy for the both of them. Leo did see Dorit's hat when I was taking notes, and he said, I know what she's supposed to be. And I said, what? And he's like, a record player.
Yeah, buddy.
And I said, honey, would I wear that outfit? And he said, no. And I was all, that's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
He
did think I would wear the wedding cake outfit that Bose had on. He said that if he could make the swan dress a little different, I would probably wear that. And again, he's not wrong. Right. So again, I felt protective of Bose immediately when she said that she loved Dorit. Garcelle and Amanda de Cadenet arrived. This episode had everything.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
She is a photographer in her own right. She also has a podcast. She's an artist. She married John Taylor of Duran Duran when she was 20 or 21. She was a model. Stunning. Her life is very fascinating to me. I liked her outfit. Like, I love the fact that she rolled in with Garcelle. Like rolling in with Garcelle Beauvais is going to heighten your real estate value, in my opinion. What a disgusting Beverly Hills thing of me to say. It's just because I like Garcelle so much.
Yeah.
I like her so much. Anyway, Garcelle's luminous and Amanda fascinates me.
What was Garcelle wearing? I forgot. Oh, right, that white cape.
She's wearing the white cape and the beautiful flower headdress.
Yeah.
Kyle and Erika Jane arrives, and Leo said that he would wear Erika's outfit. And I was like, all right. And that's because it looked like a cake, but because it was very smooth. And it was classic because it was black and white. out of the mouths of babes. This is what he said.
It was, I mean, I think of all of them, that was the closest anyone got to really understanding the assignment, as Dorit would say.
Cutting
But
Sutton and
it's
Kyle
also just ridiculous.
not.
Like how seriously these people take each other. It's like,
know,
it's
I
just
know.
hilarious to me that Erika steps out, in a outfit with eyeballs on the shoulder with like no sense of humor anywhere to be found. It's
That's
just
hilarious.
like you're wearing a really expensive, stupid costume and you're taking yourself so seriously, as is everyone else. They're like, well, whose antlers were better? It's like everyone's wearing antlers. This party is hilarious, but you won't let it be because you're too rich to have a sense of humor. Anyways.
Erika Jayne congratulates Garcelle for her professional success and endeavors. Kyle tells them both that Mo just moved out and there's a lot of change. Garcelle asks Kyle, how are you managing? Leo said that he could relate to what Kyle was saying and that he likes to talk to people that make him feel good because that's what Kyle said when she sat down with Garcelle and Erika, like, you guys are safe.
Well, didn't Garcelle say something like, what are you doing to take care of you during that? Like, it was so, it was like a specific and very sweet, thoughtful question.
He did say that I would wear Garcelle's outfit, and he's right. I would. I thought it was luminous. She was luminous. She looked like an Alphonse Mucha painting come to life.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Kyle tries to set a boundary about not talking about Morgan.
That was
Garcelle's
insane.
like, please. Like, Kyle says she's not with her. She blames the tabloids and the media for all the chatter around the relationship.
She blamed the tabloids and the media for making her wonder if she's gay. Like that was like, she's like, I've never struggled with my sexuality. And then all the tabloids were like, is she gay? And then I was like, am I? It's like, and I believe that she's having like a real struggle and some real confusion and whatever. But yeah, the way she went about this was insane. To not mention Morgan Wade's name when she was in every scene that Kyle was in last season. She had her perform a song about sex at someone's memorial service. Like,
oh my God.
She was so central to the show last season. I felt insane when she was like, I'm not going to say her name. I'm like, why?
When she was trying to manipulate
She's a cast
us.
member.
When she was trying to manipulate us, but let's do it in the name of setting a boundary for another person.
It's just, but the boundary is so bizarre. It's
laughable.
Like, what is that boundary?
Because it's a fake. Because it doesn't exist. Because it's not relevant. It's not a boundary because the jig is up. She was there.
Yeah, it's weird. I did not understand that. But
I didn't either.
But we did get the confessional from Kyle that I thought was interesting, where it does sound like she talked to her kids about it. Again, she's being so cagey and vague, but it does sound like Kyle acknowledged, at least to her children, that there was a romantic relationship there and that Kyle's not yet clear on her sexuality and that her kids were really lovely about that.
We love you no matter what.
Yeah, just saying there's nothing you can say that will change how much we love you.
Yes,
like, that's
yes.
And Kyle said that was her proudest moment as a mom, and I thought that was lovely. She should be proud of that. Anyways,
Dorit adjusts her disc and approaches the table.
Her entrance to this table was insane.
Insane. Tell me that woman isn't contrived without telling that woman, right? So they're all together. Bose, Amanda, Sutton, Garcelle and Sutton decide to bounce because Dorit walks up and they're like, we're out of here. We don't want to be around Kyle and Dorit right now at the same time. In her confessional, Garcelle says, why would I stay here in the awkwardness? Bye, and it's like, and then of course Kyle's like, you're going to leave me here all alone? Shut up. You're a grown up. You're over 50. Go to therapy, go to Al-Anon, and be at a goddamn party in some fucking antlers and talk to your fucking friend wearing a record on her head. Kathy Hilton arrives, and because Rich recognizes Rich, she spots Bose right away, but calls her boss.
It was so
because she's racist and prone to microaggressions 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that was really unpleasant. I don't know.
Her castmates try to correct her with horror on their face, and she
Bose
doubles down and
looked disgusted and like she just wanted to get past it. And that is the most heartbreaking look.
And then in a voice that, dares anybody to disagree with her, she's like, no, boss, as in you're a boss. And she's so weird. I don't know if she starts to have a hot flash, but then she starts to take her extensions out, like right there next to people's appetizers and cocktails. And as Countess Luann once said, money can't buy you class. And
I mean, they're all just feral children. They were not raised,
yeah,
So like that was really, it was disturbing almost. It's like there's so complete loss of like executive function.
oh, totally. Sutton makes a toast and introduces a musical performer that Erika Jayne is trying to insert herself into that performance. Kyle is speechless at it, and I'm not really sure why, unless she's seeing something that we didn't get to see that the editors cut out.
Well, I mean,
Um,
it was another like Pat the Puss kind of performance. She was talking
yeah,
about like pussy power and it was weird. She is like Erika Jayne situation, like it was a weird performance. And I don't, again, the whole party was confusing to me. I don't know what that performance had to do with surrealism, except it was surreal to see this woman performing. But it was a very Erika Jayne style song. I don't know. And also, again, I'll say it again. Kyle had Morgan Wade perform a song about like going down on her on a kitchen floor at the memorial service for her dear friend. So like what would leave someone speechless, I guess, is up to interpretation. 'Cause
agreed.
I'm speechless at that. I believe
Agreed.
we all were. I think everyone was like,
Completely.
what just happened?
Completely.
So.
So Sutton and Erika have a little simpatico moment where they recognize each other in a way, and I thought it was sweet. Kyle finally approaches Dorit to have a conversation, and she offers condolences in what I interpret to be a very like surface way for what is happening with her and PK. And she says, we both have a lot of hurt. We both have different feelings and thoughts about what happened, and we both have our sides. Okay. Okay, good, Kyle. You feel better? Okay. The camera cuts for a second to Jennifer Tilly and Sutton, like unabashedly, like literally Statler and Waldorf spying on this conversation. They looked a little faded at that point, so it was fucking hilarious. Whether that happened, whether that like spy session was going on about that conversation or something else completely unrelated, I appreciated the editor's artwork at that point. That was so funny. Kyle says, I know what I did hurt you. It was the Amazon Live. And Dorit said, actually, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the point where I'd had enough. She's tired of being tossed around and used when Kyle wants and made to feel like she felt like she had to reevaluate if they were even friends. Kyle is shocked to learn this. Shocked, aghast. And then she starts the master manipulation and deflecting and her usual bullshit. Dorit has a little bit of a tone, and Kyle says, if you're going to only be aggressive, if you're not going to be open and honest, and I thought, my God, is she really going to go to open and honest 45 minutes?
Did she say those words?
She did.
Wow.
She said.
Tagline, man.
That's the irony. That is irony, Dorit. Kyle says she's going to need Dorit to be honest, and then she says, you're not even acting like yourself. You're not even acting like yourself. And it's just bullshit. She can't take anything that she dishes out, and she can't take any criticism. And that's where we end the
Dorit
episode.
Isn't acting like herself, which is why they are in a problematic moment in their friendship, because Dorit is setting some boundaries all over the place in her life. And as often happens, she's going to set one with Kyle, and Kyle was unprepared. And I don't know. I think it's a setup for a really interesting season.
Anything else about season 1? Oh, I forgot to say the name. This was season 14, episode 1. The grace time is over. Grace time is over. Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
No, I just thought it was a great season opener. And obviously, we've talked about it long enough that we'll do a separate episode. We'll drop 2 this week. We can do a separate Orange County episode.
Yes.
And yeah.
Because we need to formally put that one to bed. Yes.
Yeah.
It
might just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought this was a great first episode. I mean, the fact that it was an hour and 15 minutes long. It was an hour and 15 minutes on the night that it premiered on Bravo. And then when I watched it on Peacock to take notes, it was 55 minutes, and usually they're only 42. So even the editors were like, ooh, we have a lot We have a lot. So that's a good sign. What else did you watch this week, friend?
Oh, what else did I watch? I watched Salt Lake City, which was that relationship between Bronwyn and her husband has me really concerned and confused. I can't remember if I watched anything else. I don't know. How about you?
I watched this wonderful short, I guess, what do they call it? A limited docuseries on Max. I don't know when I know it came out in 2024, but I don't know why I hadn't heard of it until I was like desperately searching for something to watch. And then it's called Breath of Fire. And it's
Oh,
about,
I watched that. You recommended that.
the
That's what I watched.
the cult
Yes.
leader Guru Jagat, whose birth name was Katie Griggs. If anyone is looking for something to watch, if you have any downtime over Thanksgiving week and you have Max, highly recommend Breath of Fire. I watched the Tegan and Sarah catfishing
Oh,
documentary on Hulu, which again, I don't know when that came out. I love Tegan and Sarah, and it was like a nice trip down memory lane. And also one of the most wild, random stories I've ever seen in a documentary. I watched Salt Lake City and Potomac. I always forget about New York. New York is something I can put on when I'm doing something else, anything else. And even the day after, when I can watch it commercial free, like I don't give a shit, I'm just not interested. So anyway.
yeah.
And what was your antidepressant this week, friend?
Oh,
Uh-oh, what happened?
nothing. I don't know what my antidepressant was.
Mm,
This has been, kind of a fraught week.
yeah.
Um, I think my antidepressant is my dog. I love her so much, and she's a constant. And yeah, she's just that is what is promised is what is delivered. It is just unconditional love, and it doesn't matter if I'm scared or sad or any of it. She's just so glad I'm home. So
And she adores you. She
I know, and
worships
I
you.
adore her. She's sitting
And it
right
has been
here.
scientifically proven that pets do have antidepressant properties.
Yeah, they lower
So,
blood
yep.
pressure. They do all the things. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm super
Scientifically
grateful
proven. Yes.
I have this little
Yes.
companion. She's great.
Mm.
How about you? What was your antidepressant?
I too have been moving through some stuff and never thought this would be an antidepressant, but it is. Oh, fuck, I don't want to cry. I can't stop listening to the song Always Love by Nada Surf. So if anyone is looking for a song to listen to or you're curious to hear it, it's called Always Love. And the band is Nada Surf, like nada, like zip, zilch, nada. Anyway, I don't know when it came out, like probably in the 90s.
No, I think
And
it was in the early 2000s. I
was it?
remember that was back in my era when music came out on Tuesdays, and I would go to Tower Records every
Oh,
Tuesday,
you're
and I bought the
right.
album. And I think so it must have been, I was living here, so it must have been in the early 2000s.
Maybe I'll drop a link to the song in the show notes.
Yeah,
I'll do that just in case.
it can play us out.
And I wish we could.
Oh,
I'm so
no.
scared of royalties.
Yeah,
Like, I
right,
don't
right.
know how that
No,
works.
no,
And I'd
skip
be like,
it.
but we were paying homage. They're like, pay us, bitch. Anyway, so that's my antidepressant is that song.
It's a great
And
song.
I've been playing it like really loud around the house like for the last couple of days. And thankfully, it's like Josh is the one that turned me on to it. I hadn't heard it in so long, and he recently brought it up or was thinking about it and playing it. And the song is just it's everything to me right now. And seeing you and talking to you
Yeah.
this week,
Yeah.
was truly just, I don't know how I would have done it without you. Anyway, friends, that brings us to the end of another episode of A Therapeutic Dose.
Sorry that
And
there was a little bit of a bait and switch, but we'll get an Orange
yeah,
County episode out
we
later. Yeah.
we just don't have time to give it justice in the time that we have left before we have to leave for our respective appointments. But the good news is you'll have more content for
Yay.
later on this week. Maybe when you're dropping on a plane or in the car on a road trip to whoever's house you're going to go eat at. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for passing us on to your friends and colleagues that might be interested. We appreciate it. Take good care. Dial up that Not a Surf song.
Yeah.
Drink water, get some sleep. I don't know. All things I need to do myself.
Right. Everybody. Yes, that's right. You're on like an hour and a half of sleep.
Yeah, I had
Also.
like 2 hours of sleep. So
Not great.
adrenaline at this point.
Yeah, everybody just take very good care of yourselves. And we'll talk next week, but we'll talk also before.
Well,
with some Orange County
yes,
to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So stay tuned. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Ramona and Margie are
Obviously.
not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.